a Canadian that you've never heard of Tim Hortons, and they will give you a suspicious look. Ask them if Tim Hortons is some kind of car dealership, and you may want to start running. You see, Tim Hortons is a coffee and donut powerhouse. A Canadian coffee and donut powerhouse. So Canadian that a full-blown adult man ice skated through the drive-thru. That Canadian. Tim Hortons, or Tims, or Timmies, as they're known to Canadians, has been an institution for a long time. We all like Canada. When I think of Canada, there's not many things that are more Canadian than Tim Hortons. Even the logos are the same colour as the national flag. Coincidence? I doubt it. The maple leaf is strong with this one. A country that knows a good breakfast has high expectations. This is a country that has a baker named after it. So you're in good hands. But if you think of Tim Hortons, what comes to mind? Coffee has to be near the top of the list. The cup is iconic in itself, and Canadians love their coffee. Tim Hortons double-double, 2 shots of cream, 2 shots of sugar. They could have just made 1 shot twice as big, but they didn't. Why? Because then it would just be coffee with cream, and also because it's a Canadian classic. That's why. Look, I have it in writing. Double-double, Canadian classic. Tim Horton, the man himself. Horton was born in 1930 in Ontario, Canada, and rose to fame as a Canadian professional ice hockey star. A tough player known for his strength, his teammates' legendary tales of Horton's superhuman strength. Horton went on to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, New York Rangers, Pittsburgh Penguins, Buffalo Sabres. Horton was well aware that he wanted other options for when his playing career was over, and floated various business ideas well before he was due to finish playing hockey. He decided to go into the donut business while he was still playing in the National Hockey League at the top of his game. It was towards the end of his career, and Horton was now playing for the Buffalo Sabres under general manager George Imlach. While negotiating his new 1973-74 contract, Horton convinced Imlach to include a sports car in his deal with the club. Imlach was reluctant but wanted Horton to sign, so he agreed. On the 20th of February 1974, Horton had been playing for the Sabres against his old team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and was driving back to Buffalo when he lost control of his car. Tim Horton was dead, aged 44. The start of Tim Hortons had come a decade before, when in 1964 Tim Horton decided to get in the coffee and donut business, with his first store in Hamilton, Ontario. Horton had previously opened a few restaurants in a partnership with a close associate of his, Jim Charade, and the two of them had formed a partnership, Tim and Jim Limited. They were more of drive-in burgers and chicken kind of venture, but Horton had established a Horton-branded donut place, Tim Horton Donut, on his own. Jim Charade had licensed the Horton name and was running a store which began supplying donuts to their 4th restaurant. In 1965, Ron Joyce takes on the franchise of the original Hamilton location, and Joyce, a former police officer, was now in the donut game. No stereotypes here. In 1966, Ron Joyce and Tim Horton became business partners and formed Tim Donut Limited. Joyce was the first franchisee of the new business, and after Tim Horton's death in 1974, the company was then owned jointly by Joyce and Tim Horton's wife, Laurie. Ron Joyce offered Laurie $1 million for her share in the company. Yes and yes. The deal was done, and Ron Joyce takes full ownership of the business in 1975. Easy, except for Laurie sued Joyce in 1987, unhappy with the agreement and feeling she had been taken advantage of. The lawsuit failed, and Joyce continues to grow Tim Hortons. With Joyce in full control, Tim Hortons started to expand rapidly, going from 40 locations to 500 in a little over 15 years. And not only were the restaurants expanding, but also the early menu items. 1976 saw the introduction of Timbits, the hole in the centre of the donut, another Canadian icon. Now at risk of being put in a Canadian headlock, there is a fine line, or in this case a 5,000-mile border, between the identity of the humble donut hole. Timbits versus Dunkin' Donuts Munchkins. Could be what future wars are fought over. Timbits are a classic offering for Tim Hortons, and they are still technically a donut, I suppose. But 1985 saw the introduction of soup and chilies, which is a move away from the core menu and a signal of intent. A move away from simply coffee and donuts. Sandwiches are slipped in 1993, followed by bagels a little later. There was now a broader menu, and in 1995, Tim Hortons is acquired by Wendy's International. Tim Hortons is set for expansion into the US. Imperialistic Timbits are making moves south. Today, Tim Hortons has a broad menu that is in line with its competitors in the market. The coffee and donuts are still there, but with additional items such as bacon with egg and cheese muffins, breakfast wraps and hash browns. You're butting heads with McDonald's with this range. McDonald's is dominant across the globe with this menu lineup. Fried chicken is also present with options like Tim's Crispy Sandwich and Crispy Chicken and Bacon Wraps. Two potential dangers with this could be that customers that are already familiar with the Tim Hortons brand don't associate fried chicken etc. with the company's identity, and it's not why they visit. The second could be that to new customers and to new markets, you don't stand out from the crowd and therefore lack identity, although people do expect choice. In an attempt to tap into the vegan or plant-based market, Tim Hortons began selling Beyond Meat burgers and sausages as part of their lineup. This idea didn't meet their sales expectations, and have since started to pull back from the idea for now, and have started to remove these items from their menus. You win some, you lose some. Apple fritters are still a winner. Tim Hortons is trying to move with the industry times. One of these moves is dropping plastic straws and replacing them with paper ones in order to reduce pollution and waste. They are aiming to move from plastic to paper by 2021. They have also dropped double cupping. As the name applies, at least in this context, a second cup was used so the cup wasn't as hot. The company has now moved to a sleeve, which they say will save 200 million cups a year from going to landfill. A recent partnership with TerraCycle's Loop program will see them try branded reusable containers that customers pay a deposit for and bring them with them instead of using disposable packaging. Single-use packaging has been getting unwanted press, so this seems like everyone is trying to find a solution. Over the years, Tim Hortons has been successful in generating interest in the brand and understanding their needs. The fact that the name doesn't have an apostrophe is due to Canada being bilingual and the apostrophe being English grammar. It means it had to go so branding would be consistent in both languages. Early on, Tim Hortons had success with their Roll Up the Rim to Win campaign, basically a lottery. You roll up the rim of the cup and see if you won a prize. Prizes varied from a free drink or donut up to TVs and cash prizes. First introduced in 1986, and the big prize was a box of Timbits. The modern version is, like most things, a much more digital affair, where you can do this online rather than with the physical cup. It saves on the landfill again, but doesn't hurt to have customers signing up and having more personalised information. In 2014, Tim Hortons is acquired by the owner of Burger King, and a new umbrella company is formed called Restaurant Brands International to manage both brands. They also have since acquired Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. RBI, as they're known, is one of the largest restaurant companies in their sector, with worldwide sales of $32 billion in annual system-wide sales and 27,000 restaurants worldwide. As of the last company filings, there was 4,932 Tim Hortons restaurants worldwide, and the company is bigger than most people outside Canada probably realise. Sales and expansion have been strong traditionally, and Tim Hortons was the golden goose of RBI. Recent sales expectations have started to wane, however. Companies, especially if they have been doing well, can go through spells that don't meet sales expectations. The final quarter of 2019 saw a drop of 4.3%. This includes a 4.6% in Canadian sales, which is a significant drop. This might be behind Tim Hortons' plan to look for new markets, as fierce competition is making things increasingly difficult. Like similar businesses in this market, there has been criticism regarding minimum wage labour, and in 2018 a row broke out among workers and Tim Hortons about workers' rights and conditions, particularly in Ontario, Canada, a challenge for the brand that lives and breathes being Canadian. Any suggestion of mutiny may impact loyal customers. Politics never seem too far from Timmy's, and politicians often never miss the chance of a good photo op at a Tim Hortons restaurant or buying their products. There's a hope they'll look more Canadian. In fact, there seems to be a good reason. This article in the Canadian paper Global News put together a list of where politicians' expense money was going. You heard correct. And if you are not going to Tim Hortons, you are viewed with suspicion, no doubt. Interesting to see that Tim Hortons is number one, by a long way. But politicians putting Dunkin' Donuts on their expenses? Don't you dare. Wayne wouldn't, no way. Wayne Gretzky, also of Canadian icon status and former professional ice hockey player, actually met Tim Horton when Wayne Gretzky was a young kid, and Tim Horton signed a napkin for the young Gretzky in one of the early Tim Hortons restaurants. Wow. Tim Horton and Wayne Gretzky meet in a moment in time in a humble Tim Hortons donut shop. Tim Hortons should have turned this into a commercial. Oh, they did. Well, you would, wouldn't you? I watched it. It's moving. I cried, and then sang the Canadian national anthem. Have you ever poured Timbits into a bowl and poured milk onto them? If you have, you're a visionary. Timbits cereal? Now you don't have to leave the house. Time will tell if Timbits cereal is a winner, but in the meantime, it's only available in stores in Canada. Tim Hortons is setting its sights on new markets that have rather large Timbit-shaped holes in them. The UK is one of those from the looks of things. I guess Canada is reaching the point of saturation for Tim Hortons, so they are looking to other countries for expansion. Tea and coffee have always been popular in the UK, and everyone loves a donut, so the UK could be a successful move. Currently there's 23 restaurants, and they're mainly in the north and northwest of the country. But Tim Hortons recently announced they are planning some major expansion all across towns and cities in the UK. I'm not sure Tim Hortons has much brand exposure, but a key factor of success in the UK that is often missed, it seems, is the drive-through. Major cities have a lot of foot traffic, and rent is therefore expensive, pushing up the cost. People outside of these places drive. They drive right up to windows and ask for food. McDonald's and KFC are two of the most popular across the UK, and they don't open many restaurants without a drive-through. The UK in general, but especially in northern parts of the UK, it is cold and bleak for a good chunk of the year. If you can get hot drinks and food passed to you without having to leave the car, you're onto a winner. Tim Hortons is getting back to basics and concentrating on what has made them popular in the first place, tapping back into that Canadian identity and politely taking over the world, one Timbit at a time. All things Tim Hortons. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.